If you've ever felt like today's bikes lost their soul, Indian just gave us all a reason to believe again. 5 new models, each one bolder than the last. But number 1, that one hits different. Stick with me because you're going to want to see how this ends. Number 5, Indian Scout Bobber 20. In a world chasing digital dashboards and advanced electronics, the Scout Bobber 20 dares to stay mechanical. It's a minimalist machine for riders who still appreciate metal over menus, raw lines over refinement. The Bobber 20 is more than a throwback. It's a masterclass in how to carry heritage into modern roads without compromise. This model produces 111 horsepower from a liquid-cooled engine displacing 1,133 cubic centimeters. It delivers 72 pound-feet of torque through a 6-speed transmission with a belt final drive. Braking comes from a single front and rear disc, supported by a modern anti-lock braking system. Suspension includes a telescopic fork up front and dual coilover rear shocks with adjustable preload. Wet weight is 553 pounds and seat height is set at 25.6 inches. The starting price is $13,499. The silhouette of the Scout Bobber 20 is unmistakable. Its stance is long and low, its geometry compact but grounded. Wire spoke wheels, chopped fenders, and a solo floating seat sit beneath a fuel tank that feels hand-fitted to the frame. There's a kind of artistic intent to its design, but make no mistake, this bike was made to ride, not just be looked at. Fire it up and the V-twin doesn't bark. It rumbles. This engine is built to deliver power low in the rev range, where it's most usable on real roads. Acceleration is linear and confident. You won't find sudden jolts or lazy response. Twist the throttle and it answers, predictably, consistently. That predictability makes the Bobber 20 incredibly easy to live with, whether you're navigating tight city blocks or charging through canyon sweepers. Its ergonomics are built to connect you with the ride. The mini-ape handlebars are pulled back just enough to ease pressure on the wrists, and mid-mounted pegs give you a strong, centered riding posture. The seat, though Spartan, offers enough padding for a full afternoon's ride. You sit in the bike, not on it, and that intimacy with the frame builds immediate confidence. Handling is where the Scout Bobber 20 separates itself. For a cruiser, it turns in with more grace than you'd expect. The narrow bars help with leverage, and the frame stays planted throughout. Suspension travel is limited, sure, but that's the trade-off for style and stance. Still, it never feels punishing. It's honest, responsive, and smooth when it needs to be. The instrumentation is simple, and intentionally so. A single round gauge with an inset digital screen gives you all the essentials: speed, gear, fuel, and trip data. No TFT, no ride modes, nothing to scroll through. That simplicity keeps your eyes on the road and your focus where it should be. Lighting is full LED, but tastefully integrated. The round headlamp glows bright without breaking character. Signals are small, bullet-shaped, and functional. Out back, the brake light hugs the rear fender tight. Minimal and efficient, it all ties into the bike's essential aesthetic. With a fuel tank holding 3.3 gallons and an economy that hovers around 45 miles per gallon, range is more than adequate for urban duty or backroad adventuring. You won't be crossing states on a single tank, but you'll enjoy every minute before the next fill-up. What sets the Scout Bobber 20 apart is not just its stance or specs, it's its clarity. It doesn't try to be more than it is. It doesn't pretend to be a tourer, a tech marvel, or a canyon carver. It's a cruiser. A mechanical, steel-framed, torque-forward cruiser that celebrates the ride itself. Coming up next is a bike that takes this clean foundation and builds on it, adding sharper lines, higher revs, and an attitude aimed squarely at city riders who want more punch with their pulse. If you're enjoying this breakdown and want to see more bikes that actually matter, hit that like button and drop your thoughts in the comments, especially if one of these rides speaks to you. Number 4. Indian Scout Rogue 60. There are bikes that blend in, and there are bikes that ride with purpose. The Scout Rogue 60 is firmly in the second category, lean, stripped down, and focused on the essentials. It trades polish for edge and chrome for blacked-out hardware. If you ride for feel and flow, not for features, this bike makes its case the moment you twist the throttle. This model produces 78 horsepower from a liquid-cooled engine displacing 1,000 cubic centimeters. It delivers 65 pound-feet of torque through a 6-speed transmission with a belt-final drive. Braking is handled by a single front and rear disc backed by an anti-lock braking system. Suspension consists of a telescopic fork up front and dual rear shocks with preload adjustment. Wet weight is 545 pounds and seat height comes in at 25.6 inches. The starting price is $11,499. The Scout Rogue 60 is all business in its look and feel. Matte finishes, a quarter fairing, and cast wheels set a no-nonsense tone. A solo seat hugs the frame tightly. The fenders are chopped and the whole silhouette leans forward with quiet aggression. The tank is clean, the lines are low, and the entire design feels purposeful, like every detail earned its place by working hard. Once you fire it up, the V-twin doesn't roar, it builds. Torque shows up low and steady, making the bike ideal for urban pulls and tight curves. It's not overwhelming, but it's never lazy. The throttle responds immediately without feeling twitchy, and the gear changes are clean and firm. It's a motorcycle that invites a smooth, assertive style. No need to fight for control or search for power. It's already there. Agility is a key strength. The geometry of the Scout Rogue 60 gives it fast, responsive handling without feeling nervous. Lean it into a turn and it holds the line without fuss. Suspension travel isn't extensive, but it's enough to absorb the bumps without bouncing or bottoming. In traffic or on the open road, it feels compact, planted, and ready to move when you are. The riding position strikes a balance between comfort and control. Mid-mounted pegs put your legs beneath you, while the mini-ape handlebars give you leverage without excess reach. You're upright, in control, and locked in, not stretched out or slouched down. It's a cockpit that feels built for daily rides but tough enough for weekend blasts. Instrumentation is minimal, as it should be. A single digital display embedded in the handlebar shows the basics: speed, gear, fuel level, and trip data. There are no menus to scroll, no distractions to filter. You're here to ride and the bike stays out of your way. Lighting is sharp and functional. The LED headlamp, turn signals, and tail light keep visibility high while blending into the bike's compact, aggressive shape. The dual exhaust pipes add the final touch, angled just right and tuned for a growl that fits the bike's punchy character. It's not loud, but it's assertive, just like the rest of the build. Fuel capacity is 3.3 gallons, and with real-world fuel economy around 45 miles per gallon, you're looking at a solid 150 to 160 miles of range. That's plenty for daily duty or a backroad ride without constant stops. What makes the Scout Rogue 60 stand out isn't size, tech, or flash. It's the clarity of its purpose. This is a middleweight cruiser with muscle, attitude, and just enough bite to make you smile every time the light turns green. It's lean, fast, and focused on delivering real riding satisfaction. Up next is a machine that adds size, weight, and power, but keeps the rider experience just as tight. If you're looking for torque, comfort, and control at a touring scale, you'll want to see what comes next. Ride smarter than the people who bought these. We picked the best gear. Find it in the description. Number 3. Indian Challenger Elite. Every now and then, a motorcycle comes along that refuses to compromise. The Challenger Elite is exactly that machine. It doesn't ask you to choose between muscle and luxury, between long-distance comfort and backroad performance. It simply offers both. For riders who want big power with smart engineering, long-haul readiness with sharp handling, this is where the lines converge into one dominant American bagger. This model produces 122 horsepower from a liquid-cooled engine displacing 1,768 cubic centimeters. It delivers 128 pound-feet of torque through a 6-speed transmission with final belt drive. The braking system includes dual front Brembo 4-piston calipers and a single rear disc, supported by a standard anti-lock braking system. Suspension features an inverted telescopic front fork and a Fox rear shock with electronic preload adjustment. Wet weight stands at 874 pounds and seat height is 26.5 inches. The starting price is $36,999. From its stance alone, the Challenger Elite demands attention. It's tall, it's wide, and it wears its lines like armor. The fixed fairing is squared and muscular, housing a sharp LED headlamp that makes the front end look ready for battle. The hard saddlebags blend seamlessly into the design, aerodynamic and sharp-edged without feeling bloated. Deep gloss paint, contrast-cut wheels, and premium detailing make it clear. This isn't just a touring machine, it's a statement. But the real story starts with the Power Plus engine. This is a V-twin built to do more than cruise. Liquid-cooled and engineered for sustained torque, it moves the motorcycle with purpose no matter the terrain or load. From throttle tip-in, you get instant response, no delay, no hesitation. Whether rolling solo or two-up with gear, the power delivery stays consistent. It's not about flash or high-rev drama. It's about strong, predictable muscle that shows up in every gear. Handling is where the Challenger Elite separates itself from the usual heavyweight crowd. For a machine of this size, it turns in with surprising sharpness. The inverted front fork keeps the front planted during hard braking, while the rear Fox shock allows for on-the-fly preload adjustment depending on passenger or luggage load. At highway speeds, it feels like it's on rails. In corners, it leans clean and settles quickly. The weight is there, but it's balanced and working with you, not against you. Braking performance lives up to the package. The dual Brembo front calipers deliver strong initial bite with smooth progression, and the rear setup adds stability under load. Anti-lock braking system intervention is rare and unintrusive, giving you confidence without taking over. It's the kind of setup serious riders appreciate: tuned, precise, and predictable. In the cockpit, the experience blends muscle with refinement. The seat is wide and supportive, shaped for all-day travel. Floorboards give ample room to move, and the bars come up to shoulder height with just the right amount of sweep. The electronically adjustable windshield rises and lowers with a button press, making it easy to tune airflow for comfort at any speed. Everything is positioned to reduce fatigue and increase command. The dashboard is centered around Indian's Ride command system, a 7-inch touchscreen that includes navigation, Bluetooth, ride stats, and Apple CarPlay compatibility. It's bright, responsive, and glove-friendly. When it's time to ride, it fades into the background. When it's time to plan or connect, it's right where you need it. And for audio lovers, the Power Band audio system delivers one of the loudest and cleanest soundtracks in the touring class. Storage comes in strong too. The hard saddlebags offer a combined volume just under 18 gallons. They're lockable, weatherproof, and designed to disappear into the silhouette when closed. Whether you're packing for a cross-country trip or just throwing in a change of clothes and rain gear, the capacity is practical without being oversized. With a 6-gallon tank and real-world efficiency near 35 miles per gallon, fuel range lands around 200 miles. That gives you long stretches between stops without carrying the extra weight of oversized tanks. It keeps the motorcycle's profile tight while still enabling serious touring. What earns the Challenger Elite its place in this countdown isn't just specs, it's the complete package. Power, control, storage, comfort, it checks all the boxes without ever feeling like a compromise. You don't have to settle for less performance to get long-haul comfort. You don't have to give up tech to enjoy raw V-twin torque. You simply get both. What's coming next flips the formula. It steps away from the big screens and the gadgetry. What it offers instead is a return to riding's most primal form: torque, steel, and simplicity. No distractions, no apologies. Number 2. Indian Super Chief Limited. Some motorcycles are built for flash, others are built for forever. The Super Chief Limited belongs to the second kind, a heavyweight cruiser with no interest in temporary trends or chasing electronics. It leans all the way into what makes American bikes iconic: steel, leather, air-cooled torque, and presence you can feel across a parking lot. For riders who don't need to be convinced by a touchscreen, this one speaks louder without ever raising its voice. This model produces 120 horsepower from an air-cooled engine displacing 1,801 cubic centimeters with 120 pound-feet of torque delivered through a 6-speed transmission and belt-final drive. The braking system features dual front discs and a single rear disc, supported by a modern anti-lock braking system. Suspension is handled by a telescopic front fork and twin rear shocks with preload adjustment. Wet weight is 740 pounds with a seat height of 26.2 inches. The starting price is $21,999. At first glance, the Super Chief Limited looks like it just rolled off a page from a 1950s motorcycle magazine. Wire spoke wheels, full metal fenders, a wide teardrop tank, and soft leather bags, all grounded by a low-slung frame and a wide-stitched solo saddle. It is a visual throwback done with modern craftsmanship. Every piece, from the chromed headlamp nacelle to the brushed aluminum engine cases, has weight, texture, and character. But beneath the vintage styling is a power plant that means business. The Thunderstroke 116V twin delivers broad torque from idle and keeps it coming through the entire mid-range. It is not tuned for high-strung top-end thrills, it is made to pull, and it does exactly that. Roll on the throttle in any gear, and you get a deep, deliberate surge of torque that pushes the whole machine forward with purpose. There is nothing filtered about it. You feel the engine through the bars, through the seat, through your boots. Transmission engagement is clean and mechanical. Shifts are solid and deliberate with just enough clutch effort to make every gear change feel intentional. The final belt drive keeps maintenance low while delivering smooth power to the rear wheel without the rattle of a chain. This is a setup that rewards regular riders with consistency and dependability over the long haul. On the road, the Super Chief Limited rides with a grounded confidence. The front fork is soft enough to soak up rough pavement, while the rear shocks keep the chassis stable through sweepers and city corners alike. You never feel disconnected from the surface, but you also never feel punished. It is a cruiser that understands how to stay composed at speed without floating or wallowing. Rider ergonomics are dialed in for long-distance comfort. The floorboards are wide and well-placed, allowing for natural leg movement without locking you into one position. The handlebars are wide with a mild pullback, encouraging a relaxed grip with a clear line of sight. The saddle, stitched from real leather, is shaped to support the lower back and distribute weight over longer rides. And the detachable windscreen gives you wind protection when you want it, and a clean front end when you don't. Instrumentation is refreshingly sparse. A single analog speedometer is mounted above the bars with a digital insert for gear position, fuel level, and trip meter. No apps, no distractions, just the information you need. Riders who value the ride over the interface will appreciate how simple and legible it is. Lighting follows a similar philosophy. Full LED units keep visibility high without altering the classic look. The round headlamp throws a clean, focused beam, and the rear signals blend into the bags and fenders without calling attention to themselves. The dual exhausts are equally restrained, finished in chrome, tucked under the bags, and tuned to deliver a low rumbling note that grows under throttle and settles into a deep pulse at idle. Storage is handled by two genuine leather saddlebags. They are soft-sided but reinforced, with enough room for weekend trips or daily hauling. They close with real buckles and stay tight to the frame at speed. There is nothing fake about them, just honest craftsmanship built to age well. With a 4-gallon tank and fuel efficiency averaging near 42 miles per gallon, the Super Chief Limited delivers a practical range of 160 to 180 miles. That is plenty for most long rides, with fuel stops falling naturally into the rhythm of the day. What earns this motorcycle its place so high on the list isn't just the torque or the look, it's the combination of timeless American styling, rock-solid engineering, and the kind of ride that stays with you long after the engine shuts off. It's not here to dazzle with screens or change riding with modes, it's here to remind you why you fell in love with motorcycling in the first place. Next up isn't just a bike, it's the final word. No extras, no polish, just the raw, unfiltered power that reminds you why motorcycles mattered in the first place. If you ride, wrench, or just respect what real machines stand for, go ahead and subscribe. We've got more deep dives on the bikes that move the industry, not just follow it. Number 1. Indian Chief Bobber Dark Horse. This is not a motorcycle that asks for attention, it commands it. The Chief Bobber Dark Horse is unapologetic in both attitude and build, combining raw American torque with stripped-down styling that makes no concessions to softness or compromise. For riders who prefer their machines with a little more grit and a lot more presence, this is where tradition meets power in its most elemental form. This model delivers 120 horsepower from an air-cooled engine, displacing 1,801 cubic centimeters, producing 120 pound-feet of torque. It features a 6-speed transmission with a belt final drive. Braking is managed by a single front disc and a single rear disc, supported by a modern anti-lock braking system. Suspension includes a telescopic front fork and dual rear shocks with adjustable preload. Wet weight is 676 pounds with a seat height of 26 inches. The starting price is $18,999. Everything about the Chief Bobber Dark Horse is grounded in weight, steel, and stance. Blacked-out finishes stretch from the headlamp housing to the exhaust tips, giving it a shadowed look that lives up to its name. The chunky front tire wrapped around a spoked wheel, the low-slung tank with a brushed logo, and the cut fenders all reinforce the stripped-back, aggressive silhouette. It is not trying to be retro, it is built from the same DNA as the early customs that inspired it. The engine is Indian's Thunderstroke 116, and it delivers the kind of performance you feel through your spine. It pulls hard from low in the rev range and doesn't back down. Twist the throttle and you get a wall of torque that doesn't taper. It pushes. This is not a bike for high-revving theatrics. It is for rolling power, for real-world roads, and for riders who prefer to feel the asphalt tugging back. The 6-speed transmission clicks through the gears with a firm mechanical feel. There's just enough effort at the lever to remind you that you're working with real steel, not silicone. The belt drive keeps the whole experience smooth and quiet, without losing the visceral response that makes each pull so addictive. There are no ride modes to toggle, no screens to navigate, just throttle, clutch, and road. The chassis rides low, putting the rider deep in the frame. That positioning helps ground the bike, making slow-speed maneuvering feel confident and controlled. At highway speeds, the wheelbase and geometry keep it stable without becoming sluggish. The suspension isn't plush, it's taut, but it does enough to take the sting out of potholes and uneven pavement. You feel the road, but you never feel punished by it. The ergonomics lean into old-school control. Mini-ape handlebars rise just above shoulder height, giving a commanding view and a broad grip that encourages steady input. The solo seat is thickly padded and shaped to hold the rider in place, especially under hard acceleration. Floorboards keep the feet flat and stable, allowing for subtle shifts in posture without needing a foot peg ballet. This is a cockpit for riders who want to stay planted and locked in with the bike beneath them. Instrumentation is limited to a single round digital gauge set into the tank. It gives you what you need: speed, gear, fuel, and trip, without trying to impress with complexity. This is not a rider interface, it's just a nod to modern necessity. The lighting package follows suit. A round LED headlamp up front and minimalist turn signals and tail lights that do the job without breaking the bike's lines. The dual exhausts are finished in black, running parallel beneath the rider and tuned to produce a low, threatening rumble that builds into a full-throated roar under throttle. The sound is as much part of the identity as the steel. It's not decorative, it's elemental. Storage is non-existent, and that's by design. This is not a touring bike. It's not for grocery runs. It's for open stretches, short escapes, and pure riding. Riders who want to bring gear can strap on a small bag, but most won't. That's not what this bike is for. Fuel range runs around 160 miles from a 4-gallon tank, depending on how hard you ride. It's not built for endurance, it's built for expression, for the kind of riding that clears the head and tightens the grip. The Chief Bobber Dark Horse tops this list, not because it's the most feature-rich, but because it strips away everything that isn't essential and delivers what really matters. It's honest, bold, and built to last. It doesn't distract you with screens. It doesn't pamper you with settings. It hands you a set of bars, a powerful motor, and a road, and trusts that you know what to do with them. For the older rider who still values connection over convenience, torque over touchscreens, and silhouette over flash, this isn't just a motorcycle. It's a return to form. Some bikes disappear quietly. Others go out with a fight. But what happens when the government steps in and riders are left blindsided overnight? If you thought today's industry was harsh, wait until you see what just got banned in 12 states. Watch, this motorcycle just got banned across 12 US states. Owners are furious next. And if you're still here, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. The next truth might already be on the chopping block.